When you're helping a client to review that franchise disclosure document, what are some of the biggest red flags that you tell them to look out for?
And there was one franchise I looked at, there were 5 litigations with 50 franchisees. And it's like, wow. So the ratio matters, but that's a red flag. The balance sheet, cash flow statement, income statement of the franchise. Item 19 that shows the financials on the economics of the franchise on the franchisee level. 98% of the franchise brands we recommend have the item 19, although I think it's like 60% or 58% actually have one in the universe of like 3,600 franchise brands that we have the franchise disclosure documents for. Openings, closures, there's been a lot of units reacquired by the franchisor. That's a red flag. I want to know why. Like, that Dutch Bros, I don't know if you've been to Dutch Bros, they used to franchise and they bought a bunch of their franchisees out, and that made sense. It was probably like a massive win and they paid a lot of money for their franchisees. At times the franchisor is reacquiring struggling locations and it's effectively hiding what would be a closure. And then the items, 7, how much it's going to cost to open the franchise business, the ranges. So there's a lot of stuff. And I think with Claude and ChatGPT, it's going to make it a lot easier for, if you're watching this, you as a prospective investor to really take ownership of this. I'm here to help and guide you, and you'll validate it with existing franchisees, but you have a lot of tools that are at your disposal to really own this and know what you're signing now.
Yeah, I think it's critical for the franchisee to review that franchise disclosure document and look at those red flags that you were just mentioning, and it's going to cover the business model, the startup costs, legal history, like you said, has there been litigation, the obligations of that franchisee, and it allows the franchisee also to create a business plan. That's one of the requirements for the E2 visa, is to have a 5-year financial plan. And so I think, the FDD helps with fulfilling the marginality requirement by showing that the investor is going to be able to create jobs here in the United States